SpongeBob has gone through a ton of different eras over the years, and every so often there's a change in both tone and quality that makes the seasons feel different than the ones before. In the more modern seasons, there has definitely been a focus on wacky stuff happening as the SpongeBob crew experiments with concepts and tries out unique plots. One of the words I would use to describe the recent season is weird. In today's video, let's go through some examples of how SpongeBob is getting extremely weird, and I should also mention that I don't consider this a bad thing, but it is still worth talking about. First up, I want to go over a SpongeBob episode called There's a Sponge in My Soup. From that title, you probably have absolutely no idea what to expect, and yeah, it definitely sounds odd. In this episode, Mr. Krabs' new Krabby Soup is a hit, until some heat-loving hippies move into the soup vat. I know that may not seem like a weird episode based on the synopsis alone, but if you actually watch it, then yeah, this is messed up. Basically, the entire episode is about these hippies who go in the soup and won't come out, so SpongeBob has to try and convince them to leave. Eventually, his plans fail and he ends up going into the soup himself to see if that has any better results. Then he turns into a hippie and things get even weirder, so this is what stems the title, There's a Sponge in My Soup. Now, there's lots more hippie stuff, especially with Mr. Krabs, and I really just thought this whole episode was strange. When SpongeBob first started so many years ago, people probably didn't expect a storyline with hippies stuck in soup. Honestly, I thought this episode had potential to be good, and it could have taken that weirdness to a unique level, but it really fell flat for me. Weirdness can work well, but There's a Sponge in My Soup was just pretty boring, and the entire plot was barely even funny. They were definitely going for a reaction of, "What's going on?" for comedic purposes, but I didn't really laugh at all. Whatever, that's only my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people love the weirdness of this episode.
Hey, you're far out. It's cool. Up is down, down is up. It's all relative.
Another story that proves SpongeBob is getting weird is an episode called Pat the Horse. The synopsis is that Patrick wants to become a horse. Yep, that's it. At first it seems like something incredibly stupid, and you're right, it is. However, even though it does sound dumb, I watched the full episode and it was surprisingly not bad. The episode did have a slow start with SpongeBob goes around riding Patrick and then Patrick doesn't talk English, but the pace picks up soon after. After the slow first few minutes, we get into a fast-paced mini-story of Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob having a horse race, and they're definitely not horses. Looking at these pictures, you're probably thinking it's boring and a plot that would go nowhere. Luckily, this is one of those episodes that takes a very simple concept and uses it to its maximum potential. In the short 11 minutes, a lot happens revolving around the idea of Patrick being a horse. It definitely would have been a horrible episode if it came from the garbage era of season 6 to 8, but it's more modern and the SpongeBob crew has been more creative recently, so this was a nice surprise of weirdness. Lastly, I want to talk about a strange modern SpongeBob episode called Cuddly Hugs. In this episode, SpongeBob's new friend is a giant fluffy hamster, but no one else is able to see him. Now, it turns out that the way to see this giant hamster is by eating a really disgusting Krabby Patty that makes you hallucinate, so that's pretty weird.
What are you?
Why, I'm your new best friend. You can call me Cuddly Hugs.
New best friend. I like the sound of that.
Then bring it in for the real deal.
This isn't really a concept I expected to see, but it still turned out a bit better than I expected. I have to admit though that the ending was pretty messed up. You probably thought this was going to be a happy tale about a sponge and a hamster going around Bikini Bottom and having awesome adventures, right? Well, that's what happens for the majority of the episode, but then we get to the final few minutes. It involves this giant hamster trying to eat everyone in the Krusty Krab, and there's not much of an explanation as to why. I don't know what was going on in the writer's room when they were coming up with Cuddly Hugs, but it was extremely weird. Some people are going to like these strange new SpongeBob episode concepts, and others probably won't be fans, but I still think it's cool that the show is actually trying to be creative again. Anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.